श्रीपाद श्रीवल्लभत्वं सदैव श्रीदत्तास्मान् पाहि देवाधिदेव भावग्राह्य क्लेशहारिं सुकीर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। त्वं नो माता त्वं पिता प्तोऽधिपस्त्वं त्राता योग क्षेमकृत् सद्गुरुस्त्वं त्वं सर्वस्वं नो प्रभो विश्वमूर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। पापं तापं व्याधिमादिं च दैन्यं भीतिं क्लेशं त्वं हराशुत्वदन्यम् त्रातारन्नो वीक्ष ईशास्त्रजूर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। नान्यस्त्राता न पिता न भर्ता त्वत्तो देव त्वं शरण्योकहर्ता कुर्वात्रेयानुग्रहं पूर्णराते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। धर्मे प्रीतिं सन्मतिं देवभक्तिं सत्सङ्गाप्तिं देहि भुक्तिं च मुक्तिं भावासक्तिं चाखिलानन्दमूर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। श्लोकपञ्चकमेतद्यो लोकमङ्गलवर्धनम् प्रपठेन्नियतो भक्त्या श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत् श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत् श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत् श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत्। श्रीपादराजं शरणं प्रपद्ये। श्रीपाद श्रीवल्लभ चरितामृतम Chapter 20 Meeting with Gurucharan. The account of Vissavadhani. Description of the divine auspicious form of Sri Sreepada. In the early morning, I reached Kurugadde to have darshana of Sri Sreepada. Divine rays of illumination were emanating. Peace, compassion, love and knowledge were issuing forth as brilliant light from the divine eyes of Sripada. Those who were in his presence were getting unasked peace, compassion, love, and wisdom. When that form of the only Lord for all universes, when that formless phenomenon assumed form and appeared in human form before the very eyes, ineffable joy and astonishment were flooding my entire nature. Sri Sripada kindly beckoned to me to approach him and offer obeisance. When he beckoned to me, inexplicable waves of peace and love rose from his divine hands, and I experienced as though they transported my mind, heart, and body to some other unknown worlds. I touched the auspicious feet with devotion. My body felt lightened. I noticed that a dark aura was emanating from my eyes. After some time, black luster from all organs in my body came out. All that luster assumed an ugly human form. That form exactly resembled me. Sri Sripada smilingly asked me, "Have you noticed who is that black form which very much looked like you?" I replied, "Swami, I noticed that the form resembled me, but I do not know why it came out of my body. I also do not know the identity of that form." Then Sripada said, "My child, that shape is your sinful body. He is your sinful personality. Now, whatever remained in your body is pious personality. In every human body, sinful personality and pious personality exist. Release from both papa and punya is liberation only. One who takes birth as a Brahmin must be righteous and burn down his sinful body. Not only that, with the strength of his punya, he must uplift others. A Brahmin should mainly possess attributes of sattva. He should make others perform rituals as enjoined by Vedas and scriptures and collect from them only that much money which is necessary for his living. In receiving that money, he is also taking their sins automatically. He should burn those sins in the fire of his intense penance. Only such a Brahmin who lives like that is worthy of the word Brahmin. If that is not the case, he is a Brahmin only on account of his caste. He cannot become a Brahmin endowed with Brahma Jnana. People like my maternal grandfather, Sri Bapanaarya, and my father, Appalaraja Sharma, can be called noble Brahmins. My maternal grandmother, Rajamamba, and my mother, Sumati Maharani, are very pious. By merely remembering such people, thousands of sins in the bodies of living creatures beat a hasty retreat. Speaking these words, Sri Sripada became silent for a while. He touched the center of his eyebrows and stretched his right hand. A brilliant illumination rose from the palm of his hand. Sacred materials required for homam materialized at once. Next, gold and silver, some sweet fruits and flowers originated. Then the holy fire arose. The sinful person who came out of my body was crying with great fright. Sri Sripada, with a movement of his eyes, commanded the sinful person to fall into the divine fire and get reduced to ashes. That person fell into the fire rather unwillingly. Flames spread all over my body. I was crying, "Swami, I am being burnt. Save me! Save me! A wave of light from the divine eyes of Sri Sripada touched me. My body became cool. The fire of Homam burnt the sinner. Variety of electric currents arose in my body. I was aware of the awakening of my Kundalini. My pulse stopped. My heartbeat halted. I slipped into a state of trance. It was afternoon. It was Thursday. Sri Sripada took bath and he was surrounded by devotees. Sri Sripada touched with his hand the food offered by devotees as bhiksha. He sprinkled the water from the kamandala on the devotees. Some food was placed on 8 directions as sacrificial offering. With a musical voice of crores of cuckoos, he called me by name. He ordered all people to take meals. He instructed me to come nearer to him. Closing his eyes for a second, he opened eyes again and cast his looks of dalliance on me. A silver casket appeared in his hand. It was full of halwa. Halwa was the one liked by Sri Sripada. Sri Sripada said, Shankara Bhatta, my devotees tie me with their bonds of devotion. I am only bound by pure care and devotion. In the house of Sri Shreshthi, his wife Venkata Subbamamba prepared this sweet for me and took a vow that she would take meals only after I eat this sweet. Their granddaughter Lakshmi Vasavi tied Rakhi to my hand. She said that the astrologers predicted that death was indicated in the horoscope of her husband. She observed a diksha, that is a spiritual discipline, that her husband should live long. She persisted that if it was true that she tied Raksha Bandha to me, I should take the prasada and bless her as a Sumangali. Where was any other way for me? I blessed Chiranjeevi Lakshmi Vasavi as Lakshmi Saubhagyavati and granted her flowers, bangles and kunkuma. I brought the halwa prepared with love by Venkata Subbamamba, whom I regarded as my maternal grandmother. This prasada destroys great sins earned from many births. I will personally receive the prasada offered in the houses of my devotees through subtle rays. However, as the one cooked in the house of Sri Shreshthi was Mahaprasada, I was physically receiving it in person. You also take this prasada. Who can describe the sweetness of that prasada? He threw upwards some portion of the prasada. It went somewhere in the sky. He let some prasada to slip from his palm. Then the earth there broke and gave way to the prasada. After the prasada went into the earth, the broken earth came to normal state. The remaining devotees desired for the prasada available there. Sripada's incarnation is one that never disappoints anyone. Prasada was inexhaustible even when distributed to many. In the meantime, a devotee by name Gurucharana, born in Padmashali caste, came there. Sri Sripada gave prasada to him also. Then he threw that silver vessel into the Krishna river. Then Sri Sripada observed, Padmashalis belong to the lineage of Markandeya. For some reason, they became non-vegetarians. No action takes place without a reason in my presence. Gurucharana, for many days you are offering me Naivedya. You are leading a pious life, saying always that the lotus feet of Sri Guru are your refuge. Today, you could receive Maha Prasada from the hands of Sri Guru. Explain to Shankara Bhatta about Guru Tattva. That is the philosophy relating to Guru as far as you know. In the afternoon, I will be in yogic sleep and undertake internal travel of the mind. No one should visit me. My rest should not be disturbed. It was indeed the will of Sri Guru that I should meet a great devotee named Sri Gurucharan. Sri Gurucharan progressed well in the path of yoga. I prayed to him to explain the nature of Sri Sreepada and make me gratified. Then Gurucharan began to expatiate. That formless, attributeless phenomenon whose great resolve resulted in the creation, sustenance and liquidation of countless crores of universes incarnated in ancient yugas as Sri Dattatreya, taking a form and attributes. That phenomenon has incarnated in this yuga at present in the form of Sripada Srivallabha. This incarnation is formless but appearing as a human form, attributeless but appearing as one with attributes, a comprehensive form of all deities but looks like a single deity. It is the ultimate destination for all paths of yoga. All forms of deities appeared in vision to sages through their individual practices of penance from the beginning of creation are really the divine manifestations of Sri Sripada. In ancient times, sages had many divine powers. Vasishtha used to perform sacrifices with havya, that is, an offering made into a sacrificial fire. Vishwamitra and Jamadagni used to follow the procedure of performing sacrifice without havya. Only the one who knows the secret of mantra and the secret of that ritual is capable of doing that ritual, or not doing it, or doing it in a different way. Sri Sripada is omnipotent. However, as he knows the secret of karma, differences will be seen in his treatment of different individuals. The power of love is superior to all other powers. Its strength is infinite. Bapanaarya or Narasimhavarma or Painda Venkatappaya Shreshthi are endowed with peculiar yogic wealth. All the three had abundant affectionate devotion towards Sri Sripada. With the power of their love, they can compel Sripada to fructify any particular work. Sri Sripada also has to yield. Sri Sripada has a natural trait of seeing his mother in every woman. If anyone with natural affection treats Sripada as a divine child and worships him, Sri Sripada also behaves like a small child in their houses. This is the Maha Maya. It is a matter that defies logic that the attributeless, formless Parabrahma, who is repeatedly extolled as such by yogis and wise men, should display his divine sports as a divine child in Pithikapuram. For those who practice with the idea that God is obtained through study of Vedas and scriptures, paths of yoga and jnana, God is obtained only through those paths. Godly experience can be systemized through scriptures. Sometimes godly experience can be had through a route beyond the pale of scriptures. God is fully independent in all respects. The sportive plays of Sri Sreepada are not amenable for logic. They are unheard of before. Then I requested Sri Gurucharan, Sir, how did you get the darshana of Sri Sripada at first? Kindly give an account of it and save me. On that, Gurucharan said, O pious Brahmin, you are very fortunate. On account of the punya earned in my previous births, I had the fortune of narrating to you the divine pastimes of Sri Sripada in his very presence. You have the free grace and compassion of Sri Guru. Having said that, he briefly explained the way in which he had the darshana of Sri Sripada. I was born in a family of devotees. I was worshipping from my childhood Lord Datta, who is our family deity. There were lot of financial worries in the family. However much I prayed Lord Datta, my troubles did not diminish. On the other hand, they enhanced. Some elders advised me that I did not have the grace of Lord Datta and that I should select another deity as family deity and worship, upon which my difficulties might be resolved. I also was contemplating as to which god should be elected as a family deity so that my troubles would cease. With that thought, I slipped into sleep. In a dream, I saw a dreadful butcher. He was tending a herd of sheep with great love. He was slaughtering some sheep every day with his butcher's knife. That knife in his hand evoked great fear in me. With a profound sound of rumbling clouds, he thundered, I am Datta. Whatever gods or goddesses you worship, all those belong to me only. Simply when you change the names and shapes of the deity you worship, I will not change. More than that, I will not leave you. You are my shadow. How can my shadow leave me and exist? I am the great resolve that administers the will of all deities and humans. I am the Brahman from which all the incarnations of God emanate. Probably an animal caught in the mouth of a tiger may escape, but you who was caught in my hand cannot escape. Devotees of Datta should be like young lions and not like cowards. I am like a lion. Young ones of the lion cannot have any fear of the lion. They will amuse their mother with their sports and capers. It is certain that I will kill you with this knife. There is no one in all the three worlds who can save you. I was crying madly with terrible fright. By this time, my dream shattered. Inmates of my house asked me about the matter. I told them about my dream. I wailed that I was undergoing penury as a result of some past deeds in some birth. Our financial difficulties increased. I felt that it would be better if I die. Next morning, a Haridaasa, that is a minstrel singing the glory of God, appeared before my house. There were wooden cymbals in his hands. He was singing the name of Hari. He kept on his head a vessel for storing rice. He was a strange Haridaasa. He kept a small piece of Audumbara tree in that vessel. It is considered as a bad omen when rice is not offered to a Haridasa standing in front of the house. Therefore, I searched in the house for rice and offered the Haridasa a fistful of broken rice found after search. The Haridasa received the fistful of broken rice and said, Sir, yesterday night a butcher murdered one Gurucharan, a devotee of Datta. However, the wonder is that the life force of that man left his body and settled in this Audumbara plant. It is a standard saying that Sri Dattatreya resides at the foot of the Audumbara tree. This plant is not an ordinary one. There is a great kshetra named Sri Pithikapuram in Godavari region. It is said that the self-existent Datta moves in that town in the guise of Sripada Srivallabha. This plant belongs to the offspring of the Audumbara tree in the house of the maternal grandfather of Sripada Srivallabha. Plant this in your house and derive all auspicious things. On hearing this, my head reeled. Then I told the Haridaasa, "Sir, I am that Gurucharan. I was not murdered. I am a Datta devotee. I saw a butcher in my dream. He warned me that he would kill me with his knife. I heard that when a person dies and his body is not available, sticks of an Audumbara tree are arranged like a corpse and funeral rites are performed considering the sticks as the corpse of that dead person. But it is unheard of and unseen at any place that the life forces of a person are attracted into Audumbara tree, and at the same time the life forces are retained in the person. The greatness of Audumbara tree. Then the Haridasa loudly laughed and said, "It is true what you say. I don't deny it. The entire mystery of the creation is known only to the Adiguru Lord Dattatreya. Even the Sapta Rishis cannot understand what he proposes to do in the next moment. Such being the case, what are you? What am I? You are thinking that bodily death of a man is only death. When the period of death approaches, a Sadguru may subject his disciple to terrible mental agony, horrible dishonors, unbearable troubles and losses, and erase accumulated karma and grant him rebirth. An incarnation may subject his dependent to slight trouble and grant him rebirth. However, Sri Dattatreya attracts the life force of his dependents to the Audumbara tree where he always lives and rescue the body of the dependent from the life force released from the Audumbara tree. The ignorant dependent thinks that he is alive from the life force in his body. But the fact is that the life force emanating from the Audumbara tree is conducting the bodily functions of the devotee uninterruptedly. The moment the period of death elapses, the life force issuing forth from the Audumbara tree firmly establishes in the devotee, and the devotee lives for some more time. The Audumbara tree will remain perfect, however much the life force may be released from it. The reason for that is Sri Dattatreya remains well established at the base of every Audumbara tree in a subtle form. All that the Haridasa told was strange to me. That Haridasa, whose name was Krishnadasa, went his own way. I started to take care of the growth of that Audumbara plant with great love and devotion in the backyard of our house. A distant relative of mine was trading in silk clothes. He became old and he had no children. He took motiveless love for me. He began to stay in our house. He gave some money to me and advised me to carry on business in silken clothes. He was also circumambulating the Audumbara tree in our house and worshipping Lord Datta with great devotion. Whenever any difficulties arose in our house, we used to solemnly go round the Audumbara tree and represent our troubles to that great tree. Our suffering was reaching Lord Datta. Our troubles were solved in an unanticipated way. Audumbara tree was acting like a bridge of friendship between us and Sri Dattatreya. Sir, worship of Audumbara tree is a very important duty of Datta devotees. If Audumbara tree is in the house, it is as though Sri Dattatreya is verily in our house. However much the efficacy of Audumbara tree is described, it amounts to an understatement only. Birth as a thorny tree as a result of sinful acts. While going to Orissa on business purpose, fortunately I reached Pithikapuram and found the house of Shri Bapanaarya. Then Shri Sreepada was with Bapanaarya in the backyard. There was a thorny tree in their backyard. Shri Sreepada was carefully watering that tree. Bapanaarya said to Shri Sreepada, "Golden Krishna, is it proper to take so much care about that thorny tree which is dear to you as if it is Somalata or Sanjeevani plant? It will grow whether you care for it or not." Then Shri Sripada remarked, "Grandfather, this thorny tree is Vissavadhani, who in his previous birth was in our street and ridiculed. Oh, self-manifested Datta is born as the grandson of Bapannavadhani? What a freak it is! What a great offense against God!" When myself, mother, brothers and sisters dined in the houses of Painda Venkatappaya Shreshthi and Narasimhavarma, this Vissavadhani kicked up a controversy in the council of Brahmins that Malladi and Ghandikota families were depraved and debased of dharma, and that the two families should be ostracized from Brahmin community. This thorny tree is that Vissavadhani. Is Sripada Dattatreya? What is the proof for it? Is it in scriptures? Is it in Vedas? Vissavadhani, who advanced such mean arguments, is this thorny tree. Painda Venkatappaya Shreshthi and Narasimhavarma regarded my divine mother Sarva Mangala Swarupini Sumati Maharani as the daughter of their household and offered her meals and respected her with new clothes. By such reverential treatment to my mother, they used to feel that their lives were blessed. Vissavadhani was abusing those two people every day. This thorny tree is that Vissavadhani. Due to omission of obsequies after death and on account of heavy load of sins, Vissavadhani is born as a thorny tree, quite appropriate to his nature. On seeing old Vissavadhani as a thorny tree, I took pity on him and poured some water. After a short while, they came into the street from the backyard. On seeing the bewitching, charming person of Shri Sripada, I broke into hiccups with overwhelming delight. Tears of joy flowed like flood from the eyes. I fell on the divine lotus feet of Shri Sripada. Shri Sripada touched me on the back with love and said, "My child, get up, get up. What are these mad acts? Have you come to me taking rebirth after death?" Shri Bapanaarya, who understood that I was a dealer in silk clothes, asked me, "Are there any silk dresses suitable for our golden lad?" I gave silk dress suitable for Sri Sreepada. Sripada took me inside telling me, "Gurucharana, I will show a wonder." Shri Bapanaarya also followed Sripada. Sripada took us to the thorny tree and questioned, "Grand old Vissanna, you got this sort of despicable birth because your children performed obsequies without care and because you have abused for no reason great people like Bapanaarya. This Gurucharan was your son in your previous birth. I will make him perform your obsequial ceremony. Do you agree?" We were nonplussed. That Vissavadhani, who entered that thorny tree as a ghostly spirit in the form of air, replied clearly that there was no greater fortune than that. Sri Sripada made me to uproot that thorny tree completely. He instructed me to generate fire with 2 Audumbara twigs in his hand. I took them from him, and fire generated by friction of those 2 small sticks. I burnt that thorny tree. Sri Sripada directed me to take bath. After I finished bath, Sri Sripada gave me vibhuti and asked me to apply it on my body and said, "People think that Shiva rubs on his body the ash in the burial ground. Shiva applied on his body the ash obtained from the funeral of great persons, siddhas, mahayogis, and great devotees after they die. They remain united in the circle of aura surrounding his body. When animals like monkey, snake, and cow die due to our inadvertence, we must perform obsequial rites. It is enough if we conduct their funeral and give food to the hungry. There is no need to conduct any ritual with mantras. Those creatures who had some bond of indebtedness to us in some birth die like that in our hands inadvertently. By burning them with care, our residual karma is destroyed. They attain noble position. In an ancient age, at one time, the world was facing difficulties with famine and scarcity. Unless there is increase in the stock of cows, sacred materials like cow's ghee cannot be produced. In the absence of yajna and other sacrifices, mutual cooperation arranged by the master of the universe between humans and celestials goes waste. Dharma is weakened. Humans cannot live unless there is sufficiency of food. Therefore, sage Gautama was growing crops in his hermitage by the strength of his penance. He brought Godavari to redeem his sin which accrued on account of killing a phantom cow. Therefore, the world is very much indebted to sage Gautama. Ahalya, the wife of sage Gautama, was a great devoted wife. This Vissavadhani was born in the lineage of Gautama. The only connection between sage Gautama and Vissavadhani is the latter's birth in that lineage. Even though this is a very small bond of indebtedness, this event happened for the following reasons. In Treta Yuga, in this Pithikapuram, sage Gautama also participated in the Savitrakataka sacrifice. Vissavadhani was born luckily in Pithikapuram. And not only that, he had my darshana, which is very much difficult to get. A time has come when it should be known to the world that this Datta can grant nobler states with causeless compassion, even to an unworthy person. Unless there is a bond of indebtedness, even a dog will not approach you. So if anyone approaches you for help, help him if you can. If it is not possible, explain to him about your inability in polite words. But don't display unkind temperament. If you show merciless treatment, I, who is an indweller of all beings, will also be merciless towards you. It is a fact that I alone is the root cause for all this. That fact is as much true as you, this world, and the entire creation are true. I am the supreme truth, truth of all truths. In Veda also it is said that truth, knowledge, and infinity are the supreme Brahman. Sri Sripada expatiated all matters in greater detail in the above manner. I was looking with astonishment. Tears of joy were trickling down on the cheeks of Bapanaarya. Sri Sripada was wiping the tears flowing on the cheeks of his grandfather with his tiny hands and said, "Grandfather, in recent times you are always contemplating about me. Your birth is fulfilled. I will take the incarnation of Narasimha Saraswati exactly in your form. This is true." Saying so, he placed his hand in the hand of Bapanaarya. Then Bapanaarya expressed a doubt. "Sripada, I had a doubt in my mind for many days. Shall I ask?" Immediately Sripada with smiles said, "Grandfather, can there be a doubt to a person of your stature? A lad of 10 years to clear it. What a wonder! Even then I will try. Ask." Then the following conversation took place. Sri Bapanaarya asked, "Are creation, administration, and liquidation done by Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara respectively?" Sri Sripada responded, "Yes." Sri Bapanaarya asked, "Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Parvati are the respective forms of strength of them, is it not?" Sri Sripada responded, "Yes." Sri Bapanaarya asked, "Adi Parashakti, that is the supreme goddess at the beginning of creation, has created the Trinity and their Shakti forms, is it not?" Sri Sripada responded, "Yes." Then Sri Bapanaarya questioned Sripada, "Then who are you?" Sripada is a personification of all deities. He is origin for everything. When a volley of these questions came out of the mouth of his grandfather, Sri Sripada smiled charmingly and said, "Grandfather, I granted a noble position to a thorny tree before your eyes just now. It is needless to discuss whether there is any scriptural sanction or standard for my actions. I exist in all yogic states. A person who is a yogi in those respective states will definitely meet me. Creation is not Maya. To think that all this as creation is indeed Maya. The whole creation is pervaded with a simple divine consciousness. However, it is subjected to evolution in a variety of positions and states. This is the basis for this evolutionary process. As knowledge about time is received, process of evolution rests in experience. This concept of time is conceived on account of sun, moon, and earth. Sage Atri had the experience of 3 times, past, present, and future, and 3 states, that is Jagrit, Nidra and Swapna at the same time. Mother Anasuya was the great devoted wife who had the experience of Anasuya Tattva, that is the nature of non-jealousy in the creation. I have the experience of all aspects of creation, sustenance and destruction, gross, subtle and mortal bodies, past, future and present at the same time. Therefore, mine is an eternal present. Everything that happened, that is happening and that will happen is experienced at the same time. In such a state, there is no wonder that the Trinity and the three Shaktis are in me. It is a fact that the Trinity and the three goddesses of power were in Adi Parashakti prior to creation. There is no difference between me and the Adi Parashakti, but there is a finer point here. As there was a great resolve that the entire creation should come out of the womb of Mother, the form of Adi Parashakti emerged. That was the form of Brahma Yoni, that is the genital organ or source for all life creation. Only from that, the triad Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, Saraswati, Lakshmi and Parvati came out. However, how did the will to create, or how did the will to plan the process of creation in a particular fashion take place? I am that profiling force or the embodiment of that grand resolve. The advent of Adi Parashakti, Trinity, Triad Shaktis happened only according to that grand resolve. The form of that Maha Sankalpa is the personification of Parama Guru. This is a very secret matter. Whenever the Maha Sankalpa wills, it immediately occurs. To will and to fulfill takes place at the same time. I am the very primordial power that can inhibit all powers. Relationships between mother and child, father and son, husband and wife, brother and sister are unavoidable. The forms of gods and goddesses emerged to demonstrate the above sacred relationships as ideal ones. Jiva is Shakti existing in Maya. I am the supreme Shakti transcending Maya. Only by yogic Shakti, Maya Shakti and Mahashakti can meet. The Trinity and the three Shaktis remain included in the worship of Adi Parashakti or original Datta. Only those who are rich in spiritual endeavors can understand these divine relationships, their natures, and the experiences of the relevant states of spiritual progress. All the sins of those who adore Sripada are removed. It is useless to teach Sanskrit grammar to a beast. If an animal wants to learn Sanskrit grammar, it should be liberated from that lower birth. It should be born as a human being and learn it from a competent person. As I am having an internal connection with every creature, I receive the tendencies, propensities, and impurities from them. Daily, through holy bath and japa, I burn those impurities and help towards the development of living beings. In fact, there is no necessity for me to worship. I attract into me many evil influences of those who adore me and conduct a brief worship of our family deity, Kalagnishamana. I dedicate the great result derived from that worship to my devotees. It is not possible to give any result without doing karma. Therefore, I perform penance and other great pious rites with this body. As I am infinite consciousness, I get instantaneous results for the rites performed. So, I transmit those results to my devotees according to their eligibility. That is why mine is the form of Adi Guru. Just as a child is entitled to the properties of his parents, the disciples of a preceptor become heirs to the powers of penance of their Guru. In Bhagavad Gita also, it was mentioned that performance of action is inescapable. There is no end to my incarnation. I, Shri Datta, is easily accessible. Other deities grant boons after being satisfied with the penance performed by the devotees. However, Datta, an embodiment of Guru form phenomenon, is a compassionate one who, by his strength of penance, removes all evil forces and forces of misfortune that stand in the way of his devotee obtaining boons. Tata, that is the reason for calling me Smritimatra Prasanna. That is the one who is pleased by mere remembrance. I am the one who is in the form of all Gurus. As this incarnation took place out of great compassion as Paramaguru, that is a supreme preceptor, there is no end to this incarnation. As soon as I receive the call of the devotee, I will respond at once. I am waiting for the call of my devotee. If a devotee moves one step towards me, I will take 100 steps towards him. My natural trait is to protect my devotees like an eyelid protecting the eyes, and to guard them against all accidents and troubles. Sri Sripada imparted these divine preachings to Sri Bapanaarya. Then I requested that great preceptor, "Great Lord, I have heard something about Somalata and Somayaga. Kindly tell me details about them." Then Sri Sripada said that Somalata is also called Sanjeevani herb and asked me whether I wanted to see it. When I said yes, the Sanjeevani herb appeared in his hand. He presented it to me. That is in my puja mandir securely even today as his divine prasada. Sri Sripada continued, "These Sanjeevani herbs are available in Himalayan mountain ranges, Manasa Sarovara in Kashmir, birthplace of Sindhu river, Sri Shaila mountain, that is the eternal abode of Lord Mallikarjuna, Sahyadri, Mahendra Devagiri, Vindhya mountain range and Badari forest areas. Lakshmana recovered from coma only from the efficacy of this herb. By rubbing it on his body, one can achieve the faculty of air travel. This greatly helps in toning up muscles, enhancing the luster of the eyes and the hearing faculty. Freedom comes from many diseases by using it. From its efficiency, any sort of fear or suffering from fire, water, or poison cannot afflict. 8 faculties like Arima are endowed by this. This Sanjeevani plant will start sprouting 1 leaf per day beginning from the first day of Shukla Paksha. On the full moon day, it will have 15 leaves. Again from the commencement of the next fortnight, Krishna Paksha, Every day, one leaf falls off, and on new moon day, the plant dries up with all leaves fallen off. When this small dried stick is wetted with water and kept in a room during night, it emits light. Cruel animals stand guard to the Sanjeevani herb in Sahyadri mountain range and Bhimashankara mountains. It can be recognized on the midnight of the new moon day when it shines in heavenly illumination. My child, Gurucharana. Like this, there are about 24 varieties of divine herbal plants. All of them are very sacred. Divine forces reside in these plants. Therefore, these herbs are to be collected with utmost humility while chanting Vedic mantras. The names of these herbal plants are Soma, Mahasoma, Chandrama, Anshuman, Manjuvan, Rajata Prabhu, Durva, Kanyan, Shwetan, Kanakaprabha, Pratanavan, Lal Vritta, Karadira, Anshavan, Swayam Prabha, Rudraksha, Gayatri, Yeshtam, Pavata, Jagat, Shakar, Anishtam, Raikta, and Tripada Gayatri. I took leave from Sri Sreepada and left Pithikapuram. After I finished narrating the above account to Shankara Bhatta, permission for the darshana of Sri Mahaguru was given, and we were informed that the yogic mental travel of Sri Mahaguru was completed. We had his darshana. We received fruits and prasada from the divine hands of Sri Sripada. Then Sri Sripada said, "Both of you cross Krishna river and go to the other side. Go to Manchala village. The village goddess of Manchala will bless you. After obtaining the blessing of that mother, return to Kurugadde. Note that I will be always observing you wherever you are and at whatever distance you are. In future, Manchala village will become famous worldwide. That becomes famous on account of the live samadhi of a great person. The sportive place of that great person will be wonderful. There is a Pithikapuram in subtle view, just as there is a Pithikapuram in gross view. That is golden Pithikapuram. That is well established in the circle of aura enveloping my physical body. Anyone who obtains my grace, irrespective of the epoch, country, or time to which they belong, will have their consciousness well established in that golden Pithikapuram. This can be understood by all those who have a yogic look. Those who earn a place for their life consciousness in golden Pithikapuram are really fortunate. I will follow them in each and every birth and save them. My child, Shankara Bhatta, a great samsthana in my name will be formed after many hundreds of years. My padukas will be established under the shade of Audumbara tree in my birthplace in the house of my maternal grandfather. The images of mine, the preceding incarnation and the next incarnation will also be established. I am imparting you with supernatural sight. Look." Saying so, He touched Gurucharan and me at the center of our eyebrows. We saw that beautiful scene and felt gratified. His will is superb. Sportive pastimes are strange. When we started, he said, "A person of the essential traits of Vasishtha will come as a priest for my samsthana." Victory, victory to Sri Sreepada Srivallabha. Here ends the 20th chapter of Sripada Srivallabha Charitaamritham.
जरा जन्म विनाशाय देह शुद्धि कराय च जरा जन्म विनाशाय देह शुद्धि कराय च दिगंबर दयामूर्ते दिगंबर दयामूर्ते दत्तात्रेय नमोस्तुते दिगंबर दयामूर्ते दत्तात्रेय नमोस्तुते गुरुनाथं भज रे गुरुनाथं भज रे मानस गुरुनाथं भज रे मानस गुरुनाथं भज रे मानस गाणगपुर निलयम् गुरुनाथं भज रे मानस गाणगपुर निलयम् श्री गुरुनाथं भज रे मानस गाणगपुर निलयम् श्री गुरुनाथं भज रे मानस गाणगपुर निलयम् श्री गुरुनाथं भज रे परिपूर्णं नरसिंह यतीशम् परिपूर्णं नरसिंह यतीशम् परिपूर्णं नरसिंह यतीशम् परिपूर्णं नरसिंह यतीशम् परिपूर्णं नरसिंह यतीशं पावनगुणशीलम् परिपूर्णं नरसिंह यतीशं पावनगुणशीलम् देवं परिपूर्णं नरसिंह यतीशं पावनगुणशीलम् देवं गुरुनाथं भज